Today we'll learn about the second type of transformation. And it's called a reflection. You see the word reflect in it? And it probably makes you think about when you look in the mirror, you see a reflection. That's exactly what we'll be talking about today. Remember that our reflections are going to be on a graph. So there are a couple different ways that we can reflect. We could, for example, if this is our graph and this is our X line and our Y, we can reflect over either one of these. Say that we start off with the triangle. I can reflect it over the X like this, or I can reflect it over the Y like that. So I can either go over the X or over the Y. Or I can do both of them. I can go over the X and then over the Y and land here. These are all forms of reflection. You will notice that the shape stays congruent, meaning that we have the same shape and same size. But you will see that it's reflected, okay? Let's do a couple practices. You can go ahead and turn your page. Remember to think about a mirror. In numbers 1 and 2, we see a line of reflection. Here the line is right down the center. Is this a reflection? We see a number here. Should it look the same on the other side? No. This one is not a reflection, okay? If it was a reflection, we would see the 3 on this side, and then it would look backwards on the other side, okay? How about with the 4? This is my line of reflection. Would you call this a reflection? Yes. Okay, this one is a reflection. Remember, it's backwards, okay? So sometimes when I'm talking to you, I will tell you to look left or to look right. And when I point to you, you're like, oh, she's crazy. She's pointing the wrong direction. This is why. Because what you're seeing is a reflection of what I'm doing. Okay, you're seeing the opposite. Now, if I say up and down, you see the same thing. Okay, the top and the bottom obviously stay the same. But when I point left and right, you see the opposite of what I'm doing. So this is an example here. Now let's go ahead. We're going to skip a couple of these, and I want us to look at number 10. Number 10 shows us a graph of the triangle JKL. Okay? So I'm going to grab a couple different colors so that we can do all of these different operations. The first thing that they want us to do is reflect this triangle JKL in the x-axis. Okay? Well, let's go ahead and do that. The x-axis is right here. So they want us to reflect it this way. Let's go through each of the points. First, we'll start with J. Well, J is 2 units away from the line that way. So we're going to put J, the reflection of J, 2 units on the other side of the line. We can call that J prime because this is the new one. The same goes for K. K is 2 units from the line of reflection, so I'm going to put it 2 units below the line of reflection. L is located 1, 2, 3, 4 above the line of reflection, so I'm going to put it 1, 2, 3, 4 below the line of reflection. I'm just completing the opposite. You will notice that the triangle is still congruent. It's still 1 unit by 2 units, but it's flipped over. First it was like this, and I flipped it over that line, or I've reflected it. Another word for reflection is a flip. Now let's reflect it in the y-axis. So now I want you to look at the y. Let's look at each of the points, okay? Right now, the J is 1, 2, 3, 4 units away from the line of reflection. So we want to flip it to the other side, and it also needs to be 4 units away. We've already called J and J prime, so we can call this third one J double prime. Now let's look at K. K is 2 units, or is 1, 2, 3 units, from the line of reflection. So we're going to reflect on the other side, making sure that it is 1, 2, 3 units away. And last but not least, we have L. L is currently 1, 2, 3 units away from the line of reflection. So we're going to flip it to the other side, 1, 2, 3. And we can connect it. You will notice that this has just flipped over the line of reflection, or it has reflected, okay? And I'm going to color it so you can tell which one is which. We have it there. Last but not least, let's do both of these. First, we're going to reflect it in the Y, and then reflect in the X. So you can see we already reflected it over the Y. That's right here. Now, let's reflect it. We've reflected it over the Y. Now we're going to reflect it over the X. Each point. Starting with J. J is currently 2 away from this new line of reflection. So I'm going to put it 2 away on the other side. And I'll call it J triple prime. K is 2 units above, so now we're going to bring it down 2 units below. And L is currently 1, 2, 3, 4 units above the line of reflection. Now we'll bring it 1, 2, 3, 4 units below the line. And that is my new triangle. Okay? You're just reflecting the object. If you're struggling to understand and to be able to reflect, I want you to take out some sort of marker of sorts, okay, and actually try it. If I have this here and I reflect it over this line Y, it's going to need to be picked up, and look at the end of it is going to be pointing the opposite direction, okay? See, over the Y. If I flip it over the X, okay, it's going to look like that. Over the Y will turn like that. So if you're struggling with these in general, just pick up an item in your house, okay? Maybe it's just a marker, okay? And we can flip it over the X, flip it over the Y, etc.